Omni Edition Sports presents from Garden City High School in Garden City, Michigan, Cougar football. Tonight, the Garden City Cougars take on the Edsel Ford Thunderbirds. It's homecoming for 2013. Hi, everybody. This is Dan York along with Ted Fournier and Phil Henry as we get ready to bring you this annual tradition here at Garden City High School as the Cougars, who are 2-3 on the season, take on a 1-4 Edsel Ford Thunderbird team. Both teams coming off of losses. Garden City lost to Robichaud by a score of 41-20, and Thurston was the winner in that 47 victory over Edsel Ford. And Ted Fournier, Garden City needs to run the table to make the playoffs, a very daunting task at this point of the season.
Yeah, this is week 6. There's going to be a lot of teams across the state that qualify tonight when they become 6-0. But like you said, Garden City needs 4 victories. These are the facts, and they're undisputable. Garden City has a tremendous offense. Edsel Ford has given up 177 points this season. Garden City should score at will tonight. The problem, Dan, is Garden City has given up 206 points, and it looks like Edsel Ford might be scoring at will. If this game goes to form, we should have a 40 game again.
There you see the standings for the Western Wayne Athletic Conference Red Division, which is considered the lower division, if you will, in the WAC. There you see Garden City 2-2 in the conference with wins over Annapolis and over Redford Union. 2-3 overall. The Cougars losing to Mumford to start the season. That loss to Robichaud and also a loss to Clarenceville. And Phil, you know, an emotional game always. Homecoming is a big game for Garden City. They really want to win. They should have a big crowd here tonight. And they do have the talent to beat this Edsel Ford team.
Absolutely. And last week we saw when they got down to Robichaud, Dan, they went to the air and they threw a record 29 times, did Kyler Hubbs and crew. And so this time right here, I think Garden City is going to be looking to get out early and stay in front of Edsel Ford, so that way they can run their offense the way they really want to, and that's a balanced attack with Kevin Brown-Bako and Kyler Hubbs and Leroy Federico carrying the charge.
Craig Galliard, the quarterback for this Edsel Ford team, he is an excellent quarterback and a junior, so Garden City will have to contend with him tonight, especially for his speed on the field. There you see the blue division of the WAC. You see Edsel Ford in last place in the conference, 0-3, 1-4 overall. As Ted said, Edsel has given up a lot of points in those losses. Edsel with a win at Sterling Heights to begin the season, and losses the rest of the way. You see Belleville and Fordson tied at the top of the standings, 3-0, both of those teams. Crestwood 1-2, Thurston 1-2, and Dearborn 1-2. So Edsel Ford with their work cut out for them the rest of the year, really looking just to salvage their season, and they could go a long way towards that here tonight, Ted, with a win over Garden City.
Well, looking at that league, Dan, Belleville is no slouch. Fordson, a perennial power, a playoff team year in and year out. That is one tough league. Dearborn's in that league. Crestwood's got raised into it this year, but those are traditional football powers. So Edsel Ford has played quality opposition year in all year long. So I'm not sure if the record is indicative of how good this team is.
And Edsel Ford has always been a great football team for as long as I know, going back into the 70s. So they certainly have a tradition for football that Garden City will have to respect here tonight. You see the Cougar Marching Band on the field along with alumni. They'll be presenting our national anthem along with the Garden City Singers. Of course, we'll have the crowning of the homecoming queen here at halftime in Omni Edition Sports. Ashlyn Jones, Ricky Keene, Cassidy Squires, Ashley Moyers, Rachel Bomarito, Jamie Britton, and Julie Johnson, all members of that homecoming court. So we'll find out who the queen is this evening.
You want to take a break or stay on?
Well, the other thing, and I'm going to have to rely on your memory, Dan, a couple of years ago, Garden City was on a playoff-bound team, and they beat Edsel Ford one week, came back the next week, and Edsel Ford returned the favor and kept them out of the playoffs. Right. So there's tradition and there's history between these two teams.
Right, they played in the regular season, and then they played in the crossover game, if you will, after that. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the opening kickoff of this homecoming game. The Garden City Cougars take on the Edsel Ford Thunders from Garden City High High School. This is Omni Edition Sports.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Dan York along with Ted Fournier and Phil Henry. It feels a little bit like that scene from Naked Gun with the 27 announcers down the down the press box. But I decided to inject myself into the process here tonight. And so Phil and Ted, who have done both our high school game and our GCYA game, so far this year, were nice enough to let me inject myself into their team. So I appreciate that. The Cougars on the field and ready to line up for our national anthem here at Garden City High School, and that's where we're at this very moment.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise, and gentlemen, please remove your caps for the presentation of tonight's colors. Tonight's colors are presented by the Garden City High School Junior Air Force ROTC under the command of Cadet Second Lieutenant William Hill. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as the Garden City High School Cougar Marching Band and alumni honors America with the playing of our national anthem.
Great job by the Cougar Marching Band and our Garden City Singers as we get ready to kick it off here at Garden City High School. The Cougars and the Edsel Ford Thunderbirds here on Homecoming 2013. You're watching Omni Edition Sports. This is GCTV, and we're very happy to bring you our second broadcast of Cougar football as Garden City boys donning brand new uniforms.
Folks, thanks for coming out tonight. Don't forget on the north end of the bleachers, a concession stand set up for your convenience.
They've got their black uniforms. They have their old blue uniforms. They've got orange uniforms. They've got white uniforms. So if nothing else, they look good.
You know, as JV basketball coach, I'm going to, recommend there's some new uniforms in the girls' basketball.
Are you now?
Weather, don't forget.
So we're doing the coin toss on the field. Our officials actually just showed up a couple of minutes ago. As you see, 77 degrees as we get ready to kick things off here, that 69% humidity seems a little bit on the low side as to what it really is. Unseasonably warm, unseasonably humid for this game, and we'll see what effect that has on the players as you see the coin toss.
Should I be able to hear that in off?
You know, and you forgot to mention the barometric pressure is 30.02, and to explain that, we have Phil Henry in the booth. And Phil, would you like to explain that?
Well, the last time we did a game, it was around 18, and that was a big difference in that game. And I'm sure the 30.02, it's the 02 you really got to keep your eye on.
You're not getting the referee in the truck?
All right, well, Garden City will receive the opening kickoff here in the first half, so the Cougars will go to work early.
As I mentioned earlier, I expect this game to be wide open. I expect to see both offenses highly successful. And remember, one thing I've always been impressed with this year is the offensive line for Garden City. They have a tremendous offensive line who open up a lot of holes, and a lot of times the backs for Garden City don't get touched till 2-3 yards down the field. So I expect to see a lot of offense. I expect to go back to the running game, and we know after the Robichaud game they can go to the air if necessary, but offense should be the key. Now, if whatever defense came and showed up to the field, the team that can maybe get 1 or 2 stops today might have the advantage. Garden City is going to get the ball. They're on the south end of the field, and Edsel Ford will be kicking off on the Warren side of the field toward Ford Road. And so those of you who want to Google the field so you know have your bearings straight.
Your Google Earth picture.
Google Earth. And we're about ready to go, Dan, and I just want you to know both Phil and I called our agents. We're required to have a certain amount of airtime, so keep it short.
Well, I'll get you Mort Meisner's phone number. Brown Bako and Leroy Fedorko deep for Garden City. Fedorko with an 87-yard kickoff return last week against Robichaud. And kicking off should be Logan Ziegler, number 12, for the Thunderbirds.
And this is rare to see, a traditional kickoff formation.
Again, Garden City in those brand new dark blue uniforms, orange numbers. Edsel in their traditional black and white. And we are ready to tee it off here at Garden City High School. Thanks for joining us here on Homecoming 2013. We're on their way. Squib kick should make it all the way to Fedorko. He'll have to pick it up. He has trouble with it. He still doesn't have a handle on it. Fedorko was able to hold on to it, but that was a hot potato right out of the chute for Fedorko.
More and more coaches are going to the squib kick because they say, why kick it to their star athletes that are back there? And if the ball is bouncing around the ground, anything can happen. And like you said, he had a real hard time getting the handle of the ball.
Look for Brown Bako in the backfield for Garden City along with Fedorko. Fedorko 101 carries and 454 yards this season for the Cougars. Kyler Hubbs at quarterback for Garden City in a regular shotgun formation, and that's Brown Bako back there to start the game. So Kevin Brown Bako, who has taken a handful of snaps at quarterback, will start back there, and he'll run it, and he'll pick up a first down for Garden City. So Kevin Brown Bako starts in at quarterback for the Cougars, calls his own number, and the Garden City Cougars pick up a first down.
Brown Bako in the shotgun spread formation, a little offense that Tebow and Cam Newton got popular, and that's what's happening here. Same play.
An announcer's nightmare, no huddle. Brown Bako back up over the 45-yard line, and another first down for Garden City. So the Cougars not huddling, picking up 2 first downs on their first 2 plays.
This is 21st century football. Shotgun formation again, spread, and your best athlete getting the ball.
And Brown Bako at 6 foot tall this time. It'll be Fedorko who will take it up over the 50. A gain of about 7 yards. Brown Bako plays basketball and football, so a very good athlete.
Very quality kid, too.
So Garden City with no one in the backfield, a couple of slots, and all receivers. And Brown Bako will take advantage of that. Fights his way over to the 40 and to about the 33-yard line. Another first down, a penalty mark around the play.
That is, if that's against Garden City, that's the thing that we have to watch out for. Garden City saying no to success here.
And it looks like the Cougars are coming back.
Let me know if you hear this, because we can hear it in the building.
Once again, if you're a fan of RG3, this is the offense. This is that offense where you put your best athlete, get the hand of the ball, and this is the trend. More and more teams are adopting this. The Oregon offense, the spread, there's all kinds of names. You have the quarterback deep as a shotgun, up close in a pistol, but you give him the ball and you let him decide.
So a 2nd down and 6 now for Garden City after the penalty. Brown Bako fakes it, and he is rushed and tackled.
Well, he's going to have to throw the ball one time on that fake to get Edsel Ford to respect that. They've run that particular play 3 times, and all 3 times he's chosen to bring the ball down. That time Edsel Ford didn't even go for the fake.
Well, and I guess you run it until it doesn't work.
Well, I'm sure there's options off of that play.
Delgado with the tackle there for the Thunderbirds. So 3rd down and about 10 for the Cougars. Fedorko, they almost gave it away. Brown Bako around the right side this time. Another flag against Garden City probably. Looks like another hold as Brown Bako picked up a 1st down, but I assume a holding call against the Cougars.
Once again, we have seen this throughout the years. Garden City not welcoming their success and shooting themselves in the foot. And now you're going to have 3rd down in about 20, I think, if it was at the line of scrimmage. Because remember, holding is from the spot of the foul.
Well, they have marked it off to be only a 3rd down and about 14.
Well, then that's not quite as bad because you lose the gain and you only lose 4 points.
So the Cougars will try to do it again. Still, no running backs. Brown Bako, the running back, and the quarterback. Looks like he's going to pass, and he does, and he lobs one over that is almost intercepted. Pass was intended for Sanders, their leading receiver, but it was almost picked off by the Thunderbirds. That'll bring up 4th down for Garden City.
Well, that time Bako saw his receiver. What he didn't account for was the safety. And as soon as the ball left Bako's hands, the safety made a play on the ball. And he's lucky that wasn't going the opposite way.
Galliard, number 15, the quarterback for the Thunderbirds, is the deep man. And Kyler Hubbs, number 9, back to punt. And it's blocked. It is blocked and trouble, loose ball. And the Thunderbirds will take it at the Garden City 16-yard line as number 9, Mark Sample there for the Thunderbirds. And bad news for the Cougars after really putting on a nice offensive show for the first 2 minutes, 15 seconds of this one. They get a punt blocked. And I was about to suggest before that happened that with Kyler Hubbs as the punter, he's usually the quarterback for this Cougar team, and I thought you might see some razzle-dazzle there, but nothing but trouble for Garden City and Galliard now at quarterback for the Thunderbirds.
The Thunderbirds are starting to get quite a rush right now, and that's what's taken Garden City out of their game.
Sample is going to try to block for Galliard. Galliard goes the other way. Galliard with lots of room. Galliard toward the end zone. Galliard on the first play of the game for Edsel Ford runs it in for a touchdown, a 17-yard carry for Galliard. And just like that, it had been all Garden City to that point. It's now 6-0 Edsel Ford.
A direct snap to Galliard that we'll probably see on the replay here. A direct snap, and he just fouled the line blocking to the right, and he had a lead blocker, and the Garden City defense just did not pick him up.
Ziegler to attempt the point after, so this big Garden City crowd hasn't even settled into their seats yet, and their Cougars are already down 7-0.
Watch the replay here. We're about ready to have here. And
well, there was an eclipse right before the snap. We'll work on that. So 7-0 Edsel Ford as the Cougars picked up 2 first downs before they started to get the penalty bug.
I just wonder, you didn't lose your replay technician because of the government shutdown here, did you?
No, and not even the Tigers aren't even home, so.
No, Dan, I mean, I hate to say this in the first quarter, but basically, when you come into the game and you're giving up 41 points a game, defense is a question mark, and right away, one play, and you give up a touchdown.
We'll call it if we see it.
All right, there's your quarterback touchdown.
Watch him pick his spots through this. And from our angle right there, we had the great thing. And then the power at the end for a quarterback, really put his shoulder down and just barreled right on in and took 4 defenders with him.
Yep. There's another squib kick. Fedorko a little better this time with it. And finds some running room. And he gets all the way up to the 38-yard line. So a good run back for Garden City.
Once again, this is not traditional football anymore. You're going to see your best athletes, your quarterbacks. Your quarterbacks are tough. They're runners. They're athletes. They're not just. They just don't go in the pocket and hand off anymore. They are a very, very important part of the offense. And tackling on both sides is suspect. So, like I said, high score tonight.
Well, let's see if Garden City maintains that no-huddle offense. Hubbs is in now. He passes it over here to Sanders. And Sanders, about a 7-yard gain for the Cougars. Julius Sanders, who leads the team with 10 completions this season.
Sam Lopez had the shirt tail of Sanders and tried to bring him down. It came awful close to out of bounds, pushing him out of bounds there. Could have been a play, but it was a late hit. Hubbs under center here.
So totally 11 catches for about 183 now for Sanders. 28 in the backfield with him is Fedorko. And there goes the quarterback, Hubbs. Hubbs with a first down. And he sticks the landing around the 42-yard line.
Option play to the left side. Good old Oklahoma or Texas play where the quarterback picks up the ball, follows the blocker around the one side, and that running back will trail him. You'll see at some point he can maybe pass it back, but just an option play where he kept the ball.
So 1st and 10 for the Garden City Cougars. I believe their 3rd first down of the day. Hubbs again with Fedorko in the backfield. He'll give it to Fedorko. Leroy breaks it for a first down. He's still on his feet up to the 20-yard line and fights down to about the 19. So Garden City comes right back after that quick touchdown by the Thunderbirds, and they picked up where they left off minus the penalties.
Tremendous blocking on the left-hand side between the guard and the tackle. And Fedorko, you can see power from a runner. He's taken 4 and 5 guys. And
You're trying to strip the ball from him the whole time.
Well, one guy hits him, the next guy strips.
Kyler Hubbs on the keeper. Hubbs fights his way towards the end zone inside the 5-yard line. Impressive drive for Garden City.
These guys are taking real estate 10 yards at a time. And like I said, potent offenses, absolutely great offenses, great athletes. And we're seeing that again. Great blocking, especially on that left-hand side of the line.
So 1st and 10 for Garden City. The ball at about the 4. Fedorko in the backfield. The give to Fedorko. He fights his way, almost fumbled it. They'll call him down at the 1. He had lost control of the ball, but his knee was down at that point.
In the bottom of your picture, you see big number 77, Jay England, and he's on that left-hand side of the line. And when that man puts the meat to you, he's opening big, huge holes.
2nd down. Hubbs on the keeper. Hubbs with a spin move. Hubbs with a touchdown. Kyler Hubbs, number 9. With a nice spin move into the end zone, and Garden City gets on the scoreboard. So you said it, Ted. 41-40, not out of the question in this one. It's already going to be 7-7 with 7:49 in the first quarter.
That could be halftime.
There you see the nice move by Hubbs to avoid the tackle.
And right over number 77, just like Ted's been calling, they've even faked one to the right side and come right back to the left side. There's a player down.
And an injury for the Thunderbirds, I believe. There you see the big crowd here at Garden City High School.
You know, this game just might come down to who makes the most extra points.
There you go.
Because, I mean, we called the game Saturday where extra points could have been was a big factor. And basically, if you're going to score the touchdowns, I think both teams going to score almost at will. And so far, Edsel Ford has had one play this quarter, and the score is 7-6 at the moment.
So Tord Hind, I believe, will attempt the extra point. He is an exchange student.
Well, it's always good if you can get a kid from the soccer team or somebody from Europe.
Yeah, somebody from Europe especially.
to kick the ball, because a couple years ago, I went over to Plymouth, and they had a kicker that was kicking off from the 40 and kicking it through the uprights 70 yards away.
Wow.
So there are some young men that really can put the foot to the ball around this area.
You want to do something, Gibby? You want to do a slide? What do you want to do?
There you see the cheerleaders are on the field out of respect, as are the players. And I haven't gotten the number of the player that's down so far.
Well,
Whatever you want to do.
So while we've got a second, let's talk about the Downtown Development Authority's Chili Cook-Off. It's on the same day as the fire department's open house. It comes up on Saturday, October 12th, begins at 11 o'clock, goes until 6 o'clock. And it's on the site of the Farmers Market, which is located next to Cougar here in Garden City. So make a whole day of it and attend the open house at the fire department, beginning at, again, around 11 o'clock also. And then head on over to the Chili Cook-Off. They're both 11 o'clock to 6. A great event, the Chili Cook-Off, one of the DDA's premier events, coming up on October 12th. So 25, Dylan Hallam is actually going to attempt the point after. And it's possibly that Hind is just going to do the kickoffs. But Dylan Hallam, who's handled most of the point afters this season, will handle this one. Great shot. Kick is up. And it's good. So we've got a 7-7 tie with 7 minutes and 49 seconds remaining.
Well, on that drive, it's taken over at the 38-yard line after Federico returned it from the 15, and then it was a 6-play drive for a touchdown. Hubbs had 3 carries for 25 yards, including the last yard on the touchdown run. Leroy Federico had 2 carries for 30 yards, and of course there was the pass play from Hubbs to Sanders that started that drive for 7 yards. So a nice balanced attack as they went inside and outside on the Edsel Ford defense.
So we'll have to see how Garden City's defense responds now that Edsel Ford's going to get the ball back.
If I was a sarcastic color commentator, I would say something to the effect, let's see if Garden City actually puts out a defense this time, because I want to tell you, it's almost been a sieve. 41 points a game. They have to stop. They have to make stops. The offense is not guaranteed to score every time. The defense has to make some stops.
And what was unusual, the very first drive of the game, we saw Kevin Brown-Banco from the quarterback position, ran the ball 3 times, for 24 yards during that, and carried all the snaps. He wasn't even in on the plays in the second set of downs for Garden City.
And that time it was Hind kicking off, and this is Galliard who takes the kickoff. He breaks 4 tackles already, and he's finally brought down around the 47-yard line. This kid is going to be trouble for the Cougars tonight.
And just further on Phil's observation, Garden City came out in the Wildcat offense the first time. Then they modified the Wildcat, put a different quarterback under center. Last time we saw him in a pistol. So Scott Murray has many different formations. He's going to run at Edsel Ford tonight, and so far we've seen 2.
It looks like your ball follow needs to be re-right balanced. So let me know. Your ball follow.
All right, so 1st and 10 for the Edsel Ford Thunderbirds from their own 47-yard line. Aola in the backfield along with Galliard as he calls the signals, the junior quarterback for this Edsel Ford Thunderbird team. And Aola almost lost the handle.
Well, he stumbled. He was stumbling into the line. Garden City in a 3-4. Their linebackers are about 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And that time, the tailback just stumbled coming to the line.
So no gain on the play. 2nd down and 10 for Edsel Ford. So a good start for the Cougars. Wide out coming this way is Venus. One man in the backfield. And the give is to him, and Garden City right there. Aola takes the handoff, and Trey Witt-Smith, number 10, breaks through the line of scrimmage, and about a 7-yard loss for Edsel Ford on that play.
This is a good sign. This is a good sign. 2 outstanding defensive plays, and it's going to be 3rd down.
Let's watch this. I mean, Witt-Smith just broke through the line of scrimmage, almost as if he was unblocked.
Well, that time Edsel Ford's front 5 used lookout blocks. They basically made contact, and they were beaten.
So a big 3rd and 13 now for Edsel Ford. Galliard back to pass. Pressure by the Cougars. Witt-Smith with pressure. Need to make sure they don't flush him out to a 1st down. What a catch on the sideline. Galliard in pursuit unloads it to Altare, number 10, and a 1st down for Edsel.
Well,
big play for the Thunderbirds.
Galliard bought time by getting out of the pocket, and remember, this is a very athletic young man, and once he got outside containment, he made a nice pass while he was running. This is a tough play.
And my concern was more that he was going to run it for a 1st down. Never expected him to throw on the run like that. And a great effort.
And he threw it to a spot. He threw it to the spot. The receiver wasn't there. His receiver was still cutting.
So 1st and 10. And another great defensive play for Garden City as the pitch was to Aola. So Garden City's linemen and linebackers doing a good job so far. That's Nick DeHader with the tackle.
DeHader just strung that play out. He kept going. He refused to let the back get around him, and he just strung it out until his friends came over and helped him put him to the ground.
So 2nd down now and about 16 for Edsel Ford.
So far, Aola has run the ball 3 times for -8 yards.
Well, let's see what the Cougars can do to keep that streak alive. Aola takes the handoff, runs into a mass of blue jerseys, and he picked up a yard maybe, but that's about it.
Well, maybe it's going to be Aola, Galliard.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was Sample on that carry. I thought it was Aola in the backfield, but that was number 9, Mark Sample, on the carry. So 3rd down, we'll call it 14 for the Thunderbirds.
The last time we had the opportunity to see Garden City, they came out and got beat a few times by Redford Union, and all of a sudden their defense gelled, and they were able to shut down Redford Union most of the rest of the game.
That was a shot of either Mike or Mark Ruffy. None of us can tell them apart. So 3rd down, Galliard in pursuit, has an opening. Still hasn't been brought down. He's going to get a 1st down. Unbelievable. Look at this kid run.
When you have a weapon like that, you can call anything on 1st and 2nd down because you know your athletic back is going to get a 1st down.
So 1st down and a 10 for the Thunderbirds. The ball at about the 14. Should have been tackled a couple of times. And it's not so much Garden City bad tackling. This kid is just a phenomenal athlete. It's a little bit of Garden City's bad tackling, but mostly it's him.
He's got tremendous field vision as he starts his move.
And the handoff there goes to Sample.
Or should I say moves.
Yeah,
he can really has great field vision and peripheral vision also.
Dad, you said no missed tackles. They weren't touching him. He was just. There were 3 or 4 Cougars that had to put their uniforms back on because he faked them right out of them. You know, he has tremendous moves in the open field.
So 2nd down and 10. Garden City has been very effective on the first 2 downs defensively. Quick pass to this flat, completed to Venus.
inside the 5, maybe down to the 4, and he right away put a nice spin move. As soon as he caught the ball, Venus put a nice little spin move and picked up 2 or 3 extra yards on a great athletic move.
So this is a huge play for both teams, 3rd down and 2.
Dan, I'm officially making you the Edsel Ford coach. Who are you giving the ball to?
Well, it's quarterback keeper for me. I'm not giving it to anybody. I'm keeping it.
He'll be working out of the shotgun too, so he's got an advantage right there to be able to see the field like he does.
Gives it to the second man through, and Garden City stops him. Number 12 came up big for Garden City, James Souders.
Well, you're in 4 down.
Venus on the carry.
4 down tackle. That was a little Ed reverse. I think this team is easy to coach. I mean, basically, Galliard's going to have to take the ball.
And that was Lopez on the carry, so there's been multiple backs in the backfield for Edsel Ford. So 4th down and 2. Galliard with the keeper. Galliard got the first down, but the Cougars kept him out of the end zone.
I was really impressed with the power in his legs on that play. He gets hit, but his legs just kept driving. He knew where the first down marker is, and he went after it. I was really impressed with the drive in the lower body.
So 1st and goal for Edsel Ford. About at the 2-yard line.
And that's one way that you can spot that your quarterback is a leader, is when there's 4th down and 2 like that, and he just puts his nose right in there and says, I'm going to get it, put the team on my back, and I'm going to move forward. And that's exactly what he did.
Oh, they're going to measure it. I thought they'd already given him the first down. They are going to measure. I thought the first down was to the 4 myself. What are they doing? He made that by 2 yards.
Well, remember, there's a lot of hurrying up here, and Scott Murray might have said, "Hey, measure that." The coach has a right to call. Just give me a minute break here. Give me a minute and a half break here. These referees are not going to run those chains back to the sidelines, and as you can see, he's getting another 30 seconds here. And they got to set up the down marker here, 1st and goal.
So it is 1st and goal from about the 2. Number 9 in the backfield is Sample. Sample gets it, bobbles it, loose ball. It's loose on the field. Of course, Garden City says they got it. Sample lost the handle. Bobbled it a couple of times, and we'll have to see what the officials say.
No, it popped right up in the air.
Yeah, then he got really drilled by the defensive
Cougars
player.
Ball.
Just as he was trying to go for it, he really got drilled by the defensive player, and then that left it a free ball. And Garden City, a big, huge fumble recovery.
So Souders with the recovery for Garden City, number 12. And the Cougars now with only about 94 yards to go on this drive.
And they're capable. They are very capable of going 94 yards. And the last time they had the ball, they came out with spread, quarterback under, and now they're in a veer.
So Hubbs will go back in at quarterback. Fedorko in the backfield. Fedorko gets it. He battles ahead for maybe 2 or 3.
Well, the refs are going to have to watch their whistle because the backs on both sides are not going down, and I think that they're driving the ball, and you're going to have a situation where a ref's going to blow a whistle and a back's going to come out of the pile.
Because we never let the East-West thing go. That happened in the last East-West game where Richie Smith was blown down and then came out of the pile and gained about 40 that didn't count. That's right, I'm making references to 1981. So Sanders with the carry.
For those who remember the East West, that was the last game they used a live pig as the.
and they added helmets after that season.
Yeah.
So 3rd down and about 8 for Garden City. Hubbs with Fedorko in the backfield. 2 wideouts to his right, 2 wideouts to his left. And Hubbs waiting to see if he can get them to jump. And Hubbs will call, no, that's the end of the quarter. And a quarter that was pretty slow starting comes to an end. 7-7 is our score. I'm surprised that both teams aren't in double digits the way we started.
You know, over the years, many, many times I've accidentally questioned coaching calls, but Edsel Ford has this great athlete who can just put the ball under his arm and run, and you got him handing off at the goal line. And conversely, Garden City has a tremendous left side of the line. In their last 2 plays, they've been running to the right side of the line and getting very little yardage. So I'm a guy that says if something works, run it to death, and don't try to get tricky. But just a couple observations as far as strategy goes.
So let's take a look now at the rest of the way for the Thunderbirds. Of course, they have the Cougars tonight, and then their 2 big crosstown rivals, both in the blue division with them. Dearborn on October 11th, and they travel to Dearborn-Fordson on the 18th for a 7 o'clock game. And then it's Detroit-Kettering on October 25th. That one is at Edsel Ford over there on Outer Drive. So you see the outcomes prior to tonight. That only win was against Sterling Heights, 41-17. And then you see the points that Edsel has given up. 39, 53, 28, and 40. So they are prone to give up some points. So 3rd down for Garden City.
That's no cupcake schedule, Dan.
No, sir. And Hubbs with the ball still on the quarterback keeper, doesn't get anywhere, so that'll bring up 4th down.
Once again, he goes to the right, which to me is not the power side of this offense.
And I didn't see Edsel's schedule before Inkster folded.
Well, they picked up Kettering.
Well, I didn't know if that was a pickup or not, because Garden City has picked up Detroit Osborne.
Well, and they also played Ann Arbor Pioneer, which practices right across the street from U of M. So, so that's no gimme.
So Hubbs back to punt, and Galliard is deep, and there's a penalty marker on the play. See if Garden City gets some room to kick.
And that was the 3rd possession for Garden City in this game, and the first time that they've gone 3 and out.
All right, well, there's a 5-yard break for Garden City on the offsides.
4th down.
So the Cougars will not have to kick out of their own end zone, or just barely into their own end zone now.
They got to have a hard count here, see if you can get the first down.
Absolutely. 4th down and about 4 for Garden City now. High snap. Hubbs with a mile-high punt. Not a lot of distance, but boy, some monster hang time. And a great roll for the Cougars. It will get down to the 48-yard line. So good news for Garden City. They at least push Edsel Ford back to midfield.
1st and 10 Thunderbirds.
Well, once again, it's up to the defense. We have a 7-7 game with 1-1-1-1 on the clock. And that's not the binary system. That's regular. I'm not sure what system we use, but that's a system.
That was a good solid 25-yard punt up in the air, and it traveled 13 yards with a positive bounce. So Garden City gets out of deep trouble down there after that nice fumble recovery at the 2-yard line. Held their ground, didn't move anywhere, but didn't give up any position.
Well, sometimes the best stat is hang time, not distance.
Sure.
He had plenty of hang time.
Aola in the backfield. Galliard still with it. Galliard being chased out of the pocket. He has an open receiver who makes the catch. That's Altari. He steps out of the field of play. And I believe a first down or close to a first down for the Thunderbirds.
Galliard's made 2 nice passes rolling out to his right, which is the easier the rollout side. We haven't seen a lot of quarterbacks can't roll to their left, but they're very good rolling to their right.
So 2nd down and 1 for the Thunderbirds. The ball spotted at the Garden City 40-yard line.
For Edsel Fort, ball on the Garden City 40-yard line.
Don't forget, we'll have the crowning of the homecoming queen at halftime. Option out to Aola, and he is met by a couple of blue jerseys.
That pitch was way out in front of Aola. He had to reach out and capture that. That came awful close to, we got
Souders
limping. No, he's okay.
Souders into Hader. I think he was unhappy with the spot.
He might have been nicked.
So 3rd down and a yard still for Edsel Ford. There you see it. They only needed a yard. And the 2 Garden City defensive players right there.
Now, what you saw in that replay is something you don't want to teach your backs. He stopped and waited to be hit instead of initiating the contact. If he initiates the contact, he drives the tackle back a little bit.
So 3rd and less than a yard. Galliard on the keeper. He got it.
Needed 1, got 2 or 3.
15, Craig Galliard with the quarterback keeper. 1st down, Thunderbirds.
Edsel Ford threatened the last time and fumbled inside the 5-yard line, or else they would be ahead at the moment. But Garden City has got to make a stand here and stop them, especially on 1st down. They can't give up any yardage here on 1st down.
Thunderbirds, ball spotted on the Garden City 36-yard line.
So 1st and 10. 9 in the backfield now. That's Sample. Plenty of time. Good defensive play by the Cougars.
That was complete.
Oh, my goodness. I thought it was an incomplete pass.
You know why that was complete, Dan?
Thunderbird.
Because Galliard's got a rifle on his arm there. He rolled, let the play develop, and then he just threw a ball on a rope. And that was a great play by the quarterback. You were saying how much skills he had and how well he was thought of, and we're seeing he can run, he can evade tackles, and now we're seeing he can pass.
I thought Souders had broken that up.
They like that roll out to the right and then have Atari cut in underneath of the play. It's very hard to defend.
There's another pass and a completion at the 10 and into the end zone for the touchdown is Polterak. First time he's touched the ball all night, Brendan Polterak, and touchdown Edsel Ford.
Polterak into the end zone, but that makes Galliard 4 for 4 tonight on his passing, and they've all been big passing plays. You see,
gets around the Garden City defense, makes a nice cut there around the 2-yard line, and scampers into the end zone. So Ziegler will attempt the point after with 9:15 remaining here in the first half, and it's a fake. And Polterak with it. He was the holder, and he is hit. But after he crosses the goal line, and the 2-point conversion attempt is good for Edsel Ford. So the fake by the Thunderbirds as Polterak scampers into the end zone.
What you saw is something I was going to say just before the play. What's happening now is Garden City is going to have to respect the pass. And when you get 4 or 5 men out, you drop your linebackers a little further and get more people outside of the box, you're going to see the running game for Edsel Ford open up. So 4 for 4 on the passing, and you saw right there that play he rolled out, and watch him roll out and get inside the pylon here.
Here, Polterak was the holder, picked it right up.
On the north end of the bleachers, a concession stand.
Cougars not expecting that at all.
Fresh pizza from Hungry Howie's.
That in. And when you talk about the running game, Ted, like you were, they've tried 3 different running backs back there. We're going to take Gilliard out of it. 3 different running backs are still for -8 yards from the running back position. So Garden City's done a terrific job stopping the running game, but Craig Gilliard has been very impressive this evening.
Is that Scott Murray out there having a long discussion with the referee in the white hat out there, and he was explaining something to him. Something was not
the refs
happening.
love when you do that. So Ziegler will kick it off.
Now they've squibbed twice now.
And this time they kick it deep. And Brown Bako reaches over his head to pull it in. Brown-Bako up over the 20, runs right into traffic, and Brown-Bako up to about the 21-yard line. So the Cougars will start off from their own 21.
And Brown-Bako's been silent since the first series. We have not seen him carry the ball since the first series, when he almost exclusively carried it, and had some success till 2 penalties stopped him.
Well, and I thought it was a little more than a gimmick, and I thought they would go back to it on one of these drives. But so far, Kyler Hubbs back at the helm for Garden City now every series after that first one.
They're in a form of the spread, one back behind the under
and
center.
Hubbs with it still up over the 25, over the 30. He has the first down. He gets around Galliard to the 40, all the way up to the 30, and he's pulled out of bounds at the 27-yard line. What a run for Kyler Hubbs.
Well, they faked the ball into the line, and everybody bit, and he got around in, and then it was a foot race.
Kyler Hubbs with a big run.
Everybody bit on the fake. He pulled the ball out, and then he just had a race down the sidelines.
He's had 37 carries for 160 yards this season coming into this game, as there's a player down now for the Thunderbirds, as you see the end of the run.
That looks like a 52-yard run for Kyler Hubbs as he called his own number. And the offensive formation has been very peculiar since that first set of downs that you were talking about, where Brown-Bako started out the game at quarterback. They've been stacking the wide receivers on both sides of the field. I don't know that that's really causing any confusion. And then they're just with stacked receivers on the wide side of the field. Then they're just running the ball with either Fedorko on a handoff or Kyler Hubbs calling his own number.
Well, both of those receivers are really wide too. They're not nowhere near the center and the tackle. They're really wide, so they're really spread. And then the quarterback is getting underneath center with one back. So it's a unique situation. It's not the wildcat. It's not a shotgun. It's a spread formation, but with the quarterback under center.
But the way the two receivers are feathered is just unique. It just looks unique. I don't know that it accomplishes anything, but it looks unique.
I think it's taken Brown-Bako out of the game, my personal opinion. You know, he's now stacked up over there, and there's got to be a lot of congestion in that area to break free. But at this point, they haven't needed him, but he's certainly what they would call a high-priced decoy.
At some point, they're going to throw the ball. They'll throw the ball to Bako going down the right side.
So 1st and 10 from the 27 for Garden City. Fedorko in the backfield. Fedorko takes it. Fedorko breaks a couple of tackles and is still on his feet up to the 15. So Garden City bounces right back on offense.
Fedorko with the carry for Garden City. 44 made the stop.
There's an instance where he was hit a couple times and you could have blown a whistle and he burst the tackle. Both sides have backs that will break tackles, so you have to be very careful. Make sure they're stopped.
First team to 50 wins, Ted?
I don't know. These are some real long drives. So last team of the ball.
Fedorko does take the handoff, picks up at least 5 yards on the carry.
Dragging a Thunderbird. Dragging him all the way down.
Leroy Fedorko with the carry for Garden City.
There's Bako. Good close-up.
Fedorko checks in at only 5'7", 180. But he sure is playing a lot bigger than that here tonight.
And Brown-Bako is in the bottom of our screen right now, and he's the second wide receiver in that stacked situation.
Along with Tinsley, right. And they give it to Fedorko, and Fedorko breaks it inside the 5-yard line for Garden City.
I don't know if our director can show that replay in slow motion, but I want the fans to see the gaping hole between the center and the guard that gets opened on that play. A gaping hole.
First and goal for Garden City inside the 5-yard line.
He's not going to have time because of hurry-up offense here. No huddle.
Not just an announcer's nightmare. Hubbs under center. Hubbs keeps the ball. Hubbs flips it over to Brown-Bako. And Brett Favre lives.
Touchdown.
Well, I'm a little older than you. I'm going to say Joe Camp from the Washington
Wow.
Watch this.
Hubbs was in the grasp, if you will, and decided, here you go, kid. And there's Brown-Bako's touchdown.
And that's an advantage to having him kind of linger behind in that stacked wide receiver set that he didn't even make a move downfield to the end zone. Just waited as like a safety valve, if you will, and he was in the right place at the right time.
So the Cougars will go for 2, try to even this up. Fedorko finds a hole. Fedorko picks up 2. So Leroy Fedorko ties it up, and we're tied at 15 apiece.
And coming off the field right there, 74-77. There's the reasons why that play was successful. Watch the blocking on this.
On those are 2-point conversion attempts.
Look at that. Look at that hole.
Look at that hole. Those guys in the front line are doing a heck of a job tonight.
And a nice job by Fedorko as he got submarined by the Edsel Ford player, but still kept his balance, kept that knee from calling himself down, and pirouetted into the end zone for a 2-point conversion.
There you see part of our very big crowd here at Garden City High School tonight. Glad you've joined us here on Omni Edition Sports, GCTV. Dan York along with Ted Fournier and Phil Henry as we bring you Homecoming 2013. And we are tied at 15 apiece here at Garden City High School. There you see a good shot of the crowd. Nice job, by the way. Big crew on hand tonight. We'll get into their names later, but our thanks to them for showing up and working, and not only for covering the game, but all the setup involved in us bringing you this high school football game. So Hallam will kick off for Garden City. Galliard will be one of the deep men for Edsel, and it's a squib and a bouncing ball. Picked up at around the 32-yard line. That's Altari, and Altari still on his feet over midfield. A good run back for Altari.
Well, this is a contact game, and at some point you got to make contact to stop the runner, and you can't let him get across midfield every time. Once again, less than a 50-yard drive possibility here, and Edsel Ford has proved that they can go 50 yards very easily.
And that last Garden City drive, speaking of drives, Ted, started at the 22-yard line. It was 5 plays with Hubbs covering 52 by himself on one run play, Leroy Fedorko 24, and then the 2-yard shuttle pass for the touchdown to Brown Bako.
That's my favorite play all year so far. 1st and 10 for Edsel Ford at the Garden City 49-yard line. Galliard back to pass, has a man open, and he can't hold on to it.
That's the first incompletion of the game for Edsel Ford.
Malushi was the intended receiver, and I believe the first time he's touched the ball today.
And the first incompletion for Galliard.
You got to give Edsel Ford credit. They have used a lot of players in the skill positions, both in the backfield and the receiving position.
So 2nd and 10. Edsel again with one man in the backfield. Galliard with a bullet pass. Incomplete. Intended for more. So a 3rd down.
Galliard's so nonchalant down there. He picked that ball, nonchalantly stood up, scanned the field, and rifled the ball. Very, very calm, cool, and collective back when he's back to pass.
And this is where Galliard has been at his dangerous tonight on these 3rd and longs. He has not only been able to complete passes with the rollout, but he's actually been able to pick his way through for some very big gains. So he's the dangerous weapon on this 3rd and long.
He has killed us so far tonight. Sample in the backfield this time. Galliard looks for some blocking. Looks up the middle now. Galliard picks up his 1st down. He's brought down at about the 37-yard line.
Nonchalantly coming to his left, scanning the field, saw a route open up, and then just put it in another gear and got the necessary yardage.
So Galliard comes to the sidelines to talk to his coach, get the play. And the Cougars will call a timeout with 7 minutes and 6 seconds remaining here in the first half. It's the 2nd quarter here at Garden City High School. A 15-15 tie between the Garden City Cougars and the Edsel Ford Thunderbirds. Now don't forget, coming up on GCTV on election night, which is November 8th, it's election night live, as we'll have all of the candidates for city council, and for mayor we'll have the results live first as they happen on GCTV. And that date is wrong, and that is my fault. It is November 5th. November 5th is Election Night Live. The boss made a mistake. But we'll have all of the results first right here on GCTV, as well as interviews with the two mayoral candidates, as well as the council candidates. And of course, we have Meet the Candidates coming up too on GCTV up until the election. But join Susan McGraw and myself, Election Night Live on November 5th. Again, avert your eyes from the screen. Don't believe anything you read. So Galliard, with the open receiver, dumps it off to Malushi.
Just a little turn-in pattern, go down 3 yards, turn in. The ball's right there. Hit him right in the numbers. The great place to, great accurate pass that way for some easy yardage.
So second down and a long 2, short 3 for the Thunderbirds.
That puts you in a great position when you can pick up 6-7 yards on first down.
2 wideouts. And the give there is to number 9, Sample, and Sample won't get anywhere. Big defensive rush by the Cougars.
There was a little hole there. The problem is Sample tiptoed to the line and didn't burst to the line. Little hesitancy, and he got picked up right at the line of scrimmage.
Hallam and Giangrande with the tackle for Garden City. So third down, and now we'll call it 2 for sure for the Thunderbirds. Another big third down play. We'll see what Galliard does. Doesn't seem to phase him at all, and he'll pass. And he loses the ball. Loose ball on the field. Looks like Garden City got it. So Galliard just plain lost the handle. He was looking to roll out and pass, and the Cougars got it back.
And that was that barometric pressure coming into play when it's at 30.02 right there. It just simply created too much lubrication on the football, Dan. There was nowhere to go but down to the ground, and he tried to get it. Unfortunately, he probably knocked it forward right into the Garden City, as you'll see here in the replay.
He couldn't pick it up. Then he booted it a little bit, and Trey Witt-Smith was right there for the Cougars to pick it up. So 2 big turnovers for Edsel Ford in this game.
And up to that point, Galliard had accounted for 69 yards of passing, including a touchdown, and 56 yards on the ground.
So the Cougars take it on the ground themselves here on first down. Fedorko with a gain of about 4.
Once again, running behind big number 77, 74 on that left-hand side of the line. And basically, they just push their people down the field 4 yards, and the back falls in behind them.
So it's NCO in England providing the push up front as Hubbs takes his time as Edsel looks a little jumpy. And the give to, no, Hubbs still has it. Hubbs gets loose and maybe gained a yard after almost losing 3. I thought Fedorko had the handle.
If he had put the ball in Fedorko's hands, they would have had a first down and more. By the way, I want to thank you, Dan. I always wanted to work with Sonny Elliott, and
there you go.
And Sonny's here. It's good.
Third down and 4. Well, you get 3 guys in the booth, and you have to talk about something. So big third down now for the Cougars. Man in motion. The pitch is to him. Nice move. Doesn't make it to the first down, though, as Sanders, number 11, on the pitch. Thought he had some daylight, and then it closed up in a hurry.
He got caught and spun around. He looks a little shaken up as he comes off.
So fourth down play for Garden City. Their only other punt attempt was blocked. And that was the first time Hubbs had touched the ball.
They've had 2 punt attempts, Dan. The first one was blocked. The second one was a very positive roll.
The high to the 48.
Yes.
So Galliard deep for the for the Thunderbirds. And this one is more of a line drive and goes out of bounds, unfortunately. We'll see where they mark it. About the 32-yard line, so...
Well, that's positive. Now, Edsel Ford, the last 2 times they got the ball, they were in Garden City territory. This time they're 18 yards into their territory. So it's a positive field position change as far as we go. 3:52 big stop right down here, 15-15. If Garden City can put a stop here, no extra score, it's going to be one whale of a second half.
And that was a 28-yard punt off the foot of one Kyler Hubbs.
So the backs seem to be rotating for Edsel Ford. This time it's Sample. 3 wideouts to his right. And he'll roll out with them. Has plenty of time. Thinks about going the other way. Pressure by Garden City, and Galliard now goes the other way with no coverage there. He's knocked out of bounds and around midfield, but Galliard rolled to the right for a moment and immediately cut bait and went back to the left, and that could have been the play all along.
Well, he took a quick look, and then he saw the hole, and then boom, he's got a gear right here. Did you see that? He shifted into fifth right there, and down telegraph he went. I mean, basically, he's got 2 or 3 gears.
So 1st and 10 for the Thunderbirds. The ball at the 47-yard line of Garden City. 3 minutes, 38 seconds remaining here in the first half. Entertaining football so far is Galliard with a wobbly pass. And broken up by Clark. And I think Brandon Richards was also there for Garden City. Tipped pass is the indication from one of our officials.
Yeah, that was a tip pass, and that allowed Nick Clark, number 6, to really come in and lay the leather on the receiver, and that really jarred it loose. Any possibility of making that catch was really jarred by number 6, Nick Clark. Great job by him.
There you see not a lot of wind on a sticky, humid, uncharacteristically warm night for the beginning of October.
Nick Clark is a hard-nosed football player. He's an old-time football player. He loves to hit.
2nd down and 10. Galliard rolling out. He has a little bit of pressure, throws it towards the sideline, and a nice catch by Malushi, who scoots out of bounds at about the 42. 3:23 remaining in the half. Great to see the nice crowd here tonight, as we've said a couple of times. Nice assembly this afternoon here at Garden City High School.
You don't tape that, do you?
No, I just go.
Oh.
Thanks for the programming tips, though, Ted. I appreciate it.
I just want to challenge you.
Yeah, I know you do. Galliard has a little trouble with the snap and still gets it off to Malushi for the 1st down.
Garden City's corners are giving a lot of space to these wide receivers, and those little 4, 5, 6-yard passes are there all night.
And Edsel using no time on this drive because everything is a pass to the sideline and a quick step out of bounds.
I'm telling you, the more we watch high school football, if we go back 10 years, this is a whole different game. All of us are veterans of 20 and 30 years of watching high school football, and the game is sped up and it's wide open.
And the give there to Sample. He picked up maybe 2.
The only thing with that the clock keeps rolling, and maybe the strategy is let's not score too quickly. let's score and don't let Garden City have any time on the clock, as we're under 3 at 3:50 right now. 2:50.
That is the first positive running play by a running back for Edsel Ford.
Wow.
That 2-yard gain.
There's a bad snap. Sample now trying to block for Galliard, and Galliard is tackled for a loss.
You know, if the Edsel Ford line pushes their people to the outside, even if they lose their block, you give Galliard an opening to run through. That time, there was no wide opening and no gap for him to run through as he stepped up.
Conroy and Ford with the tackle for Garden City, so that brings up a 3rd down and 10 for the Thunderbirds, and they will call a timeout. That leaves them with the 2, with 2 minutes and 35 seconds remaining here in the first half at Garden City High School.
And that was a great tackle by Chad Ford, number 51. And there was another Garden City player credited on that tackle, Dan, also. But Chad Ford really did a great job of submarining and getting Galliard before he was able to get going. And that's very key with a young getting a hold of that Galliard and hitting him first and trying to derail him as quickly as possible.
Yeah, Conroy was the other one there.
Dan, if you want Phil and I to take the next 2 minutes so you can rust the golden throat so that you're sparkling at halftime for the homecoming ceremony,
I don't think it'll help.
We're more than happy to.
And we will have that crowning of the king, or the queen rather, coming up in 2 minutes and 35 seconds of game time. I think it may take a little more, like 5. So Sample in the backfield. Galliard, another bad snap. He'll try to see what he can make of it, and Garden City in pursuit, but not enough yet. Galliard still on his feet, and finally, Garden City's defense does the job.
Well, now let's see if Garden City calls timeout and saves some time so that they might be able to score before halftime.
Ford and DeHater with the tackle for a big loss, and a 4th and long now for the Thunderbirds.
And they're letting the clock roll. I would have called timeout here and see if we can make something happen. DeHater, we called his number against Redford Union a lot. This is another one of those solid football teams on this squad.
Brown-Bako back. First punt, I believe, of the night for Edsel Ford.
And they've taken about 25 seconds off the clock since the tackle.
And they may take the delay of game penalty. They don't look ready to go into the 3-point stand, so I'm assuming Edsel Ford is going to take the delay of game penalty.
And they basically, by not calling timeout, Garden City has lost 40 seconds.
And Edsel did call timeout finally, but at that point, why not just take the penalty?
And something's happened on that last series of downs. There was a lot of bad snaps. We saw it here in the series of downs before that, as Galliard now is having a hard time getting a clean handle on the ball, especially on these 3rd down plays. And that one right there, the ball actually didn't make it back to him in the shotgun formation and hit on the ground, and he had to pick it up. And by the time he did, the Garden City had great penetration from the defense.
As an old nose guard, I remember my defensive coach saying, I don't care what you do, hit that center every play. By the 4th quarter, he's not going to be as good as he was in the 1st quarter. So maybe he's getting hit, and maybe psychologically he's been rolling the ball back a couple times.
Absolutely.
I believe this is Ziegler back to punt for the Thunderbirds. He gets a good snap and gets off a very nice punt, but no hang time, and Brown-Bako takes it. Brown-Bako breaks 1 tackle. Brown-Bako over the 25, still on his feet over the 30, 35, and brought down at the 40-yard line. So a great return for Kevin Brown-Bako.
1:17 on the clock as the Cougars take over the ball here and try to score. And we might see that new kicker you were talking about if we can get into field goal position here.
So 2 timeouts remaining for Garden City. Oh, and they say he went out of bounds at the... No, we've got an illegal block in the back penalty,
yeah,
so that will bring it back.
If you see there was 2 possibilities here. Watch the first 2 blockers here.
Pick either one.
Pick either one.
All right, so there's the first one. I didn't see that.
And there's the second.
And there's the second.
I think it was the first one because the flag was already coming out.
Yep. All right, so Garden City is backed up even farther now.
Now just run the clock out.
Yep.
That was a 35-yard punt. Now with a 15-yard penalty on it, Garden City does start way back with 1:17 to go.
Just run the clock out.
And dumped off and incomplete to Fedorko, and Edsel jumps on it in case it was a lateral.
Good hustle. Galliard 15. This guy's a football player, isn't he?
Yeah. So far, I think he's been in on every play. Special teams, on defense, and of course at quarterback.
So that took 3 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, that's not good.
You don't want to give the ball back to Edsel Ford with 40 seconds left, especially with the passing ability.
And especially if they're going to get it inside the 50.
Right.
And Fedorko battling, really didn't get anything.
Edsel Ford still has 1 timeout. Let's see what the strategy is. The clock is still rolling.
1 minute remaining in the half.
It's going to be 3rd down.
In retrospect, I agree with you, Ted. Should have just taken a knee on that first snap. clock rolling.
Well, Edsel Ford looks like they're willing to go in tied. Take a knee right here and go in. But they're not in a victory formation.
They are taking their time, though. And now, who's going to call it?
Well, what we were talking about before the game started is that Garden City has to run the table
Garden City
to really have a chance for the playoffs. And here you're tied 15-15. There's 29 seconds to go. You've got Brown Bako out there. It doesn't look like there's anybody playing center field for Edsel Ford. Why not? Why not take, kind of nonchalant it like you're going to let the clock run out? We've seen that before, at the big leagues, and just kind of fake something and see if you can get Brown Bako on a fly pattern and make something real serious happen here on homecoming right before halftime.
Well, to be totally honest with you, there's Dan going back down to Miami. But to be totally honest with you, Phil, your explanation is the only thing that's logical. I mean, otherwise, I don't know why this last 3-minute strategy has taken place. There's been a lot of wasted time.
Well, if you see where Brown Bako is, they've been moving him around a lot. Now, all of a sudden, he's way down here at the bottom of the screen. Before, he was coming out of the backfield. Now he's the second man in the stacked wide receiver.
And there's that dual stack again.
And I say, just run the fly pattern.
Well, there goes the quarterback, Hubbs. He gives them some room at least to be safe. Gets it over the 10-yard line. And Edsel now, I think, is calling timeout.
Yeah, I mean, you're down there. They've blocked one punt. You've got 24 seconds on the clock. Make them kick it. Make them kick it.
Yeah, that would be something you don't want to do right now, especially with the kicker's going to be standing in the end zone. 24 seconds to go.
A bad snap and he kneels down to get it, it's a safety. You block it out of the end zone, it's a safety. And then you can always run it back.
Again, don't forget the crowning of the homecoming queen at halftime.
Isn't this the new Notre Dame fight song?
Come on, Dan.
Oh, jeez. Wow. Wow.
Come on, Dan. Come on. This is not. When are you going to play this back? Tomorrow?
Not till next week.
Next week. Tell us who the winner is right now so we know. Come on. Nobody. We're not going to tell anybody. Come on.
How do you know that I know yet?
You know. I came in second 2 years ago, so I could be in.
It always makes me nervous when they give me everything at the assembly and I just shove it in my pockets and hope I don't lose it.
What's the 17 for on
That's
the
the year they graduate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez.
Exactly.
I was 71.
15. Gaillard back to receive. Fourth down.
Well, let's see if...
So Hubbs back to punt.
And Gaillard in deep
He got off a nice line shot. They're going to let it roll. Let's see if it stays in bounds. It does. Picked up by 25 Salem. And he goes out of bounds to stop the clock at around the 45-yard line. So 14.2 seconds remaining. And Edsel with a chance to run 2 plays.
That's going to be a 40-yard punt, 42-yard punt with a 5 or 7-yard return.
I fully expect him to roll out to the right, hit a little sideline, maybe pick up 10, 15 yards, and then throw it in the end zone. This would be a momentum because Edsel Ford gets the ball coming out of the halftime. They will have the first possession coming out of halftime. They got single coverage way over here to the near side.
And they've settled in with Sample as the running back pretty much now. And he takes the handoff and he picks up about 8.
Well, that'll be the last play.
And the clock is running. No timeouts remaining for Edsel Ford, and that is going to do it. So we will go to the half with our score tied at 15 as they have an injury on the field, but I think the teams are going to leave the field. So we have a player down, but that is going to bring the end of the first half. With our score, Garden City 15, Edsel Ford 15. We'll be back with the crowning of the 2014 Garden City High School Homecoming Queen right after this. You're watching Omni Edition Sports. This is GC TV.
Also, don't forget.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? Leave risky driving to the professionals. Stop the texts, and together we can stop the wrecks.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Lona's Pizza in Dearborn Heights is a sponsor of Omnidition Sports and GCTV, and one of the providers of food services for the crew and volunteers for tonight's game. Located on Beachdale and Ford Road, Lona's is owned by Garden City's own Bob Oliverio and the Oliverio family. With the best pizza in Metro Detroit, Lona's delivers to all of Garden City. Round, square, or pan pizza, Lona's is the place. They also carry great subs, salads, and wings. Give them a call at 313-274-0100. That's 313-274-0100. Lona's Pizza. In Corporate Marketing is the official apparel provider of Omnidition Sports and GCTV. Located on Middle Belt Road just across from Garden City High School, Incorporate carries an incredible variety of Garden City Cougar apparel and swag. They also feature Garden City East and West gear and are your source for silk screening and embroidery. Owned by third-generation Garden City resident Jim Neve, Incorporate can help you design the perfect look for your company or event. Visit their website at incorporategraphics.com. KFC in Garden City is a sponsor of Omnidition Sports and GCTV, and one of the providers of food services for the crew and volunteers for tonight's game. Garden City's KFC is located on Ford and Harrison and is owned by Garden City residents Dan and Paul Bogowski. Featuring all of the Colonel's great menu items, including original recipe, extra crispy, and grilled chicken, crispy strips, sandwiches, chicken pot pie, those famous sides, and more. So stop by Garden City's KFC on the corner of Ford and Harrison and tell them that you heard about them on Omnidition Sports. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet your 2013-2014 homecoming court. First is Ashlyn Jones. Ashlyn is escorted by her big brother, Adam Lasser, boyfriend, Matt Budnick. She maintains a... Let's try that again. This is Rachel Bomarito, and she's escorted by her father, Alfonso, and her boyfriend, Jeremiah Veraburgos. She is the senior class president, plays varsity softball, is a member of DECA and the National Honor Society. Her favorite high school memory was last year when the Garden City High School softball team made it to the state Final Four. After high school, Rachel plans on attending college and becoming an athletic trainer. Ladies and gentlemen, Rachel Bomarito. Next up is Jamie Britton. Jamie is escorted by her father, James, and her best friend, Alex Herrera. She's a member of the Key Club. Her favorite high school memory was receiving her rose from Kevin Brown-Bacon when she made the homecoming court. She plans to attend Schoolcraft Community College for her first year and then transfer to Central Michigan University. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamie Britton. Next up, Julie Johnson. Julie is escorted by her father, Kurt, and her boyfriend. Julie helps out with the class of 2014 activities and is a member of the Key Club. Her favorite high school memory is when she got sick at homecoming one year and had to leave early, and her boyfriend surprised her later that night playing music from his car, and they had their last dance in her front yard. Julie will be attending Schoolcraft for her first 2 years. Ladies and gentlemen, Julie Johnson. Next is Ashlyn Jones. Ashlyn is escorted by her big brother Adam and her boyfriend Matt Budnick. Ashlyn maintains a 3.7 grade point average and plans on studying nursing at Eastern Michigan University. Eventually, Ashlyn hopes to become a pediatric rheumatologist at Children's Hospital. Her favorite high school memory was becoming best friends with Donovan, Brendan, and Jake. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Ashlyn Jones. Next is Ricky Keene. Ricky is escorted by her father, Gary, and her boyfriend, Tyler. She plays on the varsity volleyball and softball teams. Her favorite high school memory is when the Garden City softball team went to the state semifinals. After high school, Ricky plans on attending Schoolcraft, then transferring to the University of Michigan Dearborn. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Ricky Keene. And last but not least, Cassidy Squires. Cassidy is escorted by her father, Matt, and her boyfriend, Tyler. She plays varsity soccer and volleyball. Her favorite high school memory was watching the entire city pull together as a family to support the amazing Vinnie Myers. After high school, Cassidy is planning on attending Schoolcraft Community College and then hopes to transfer to Madonna University. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Cassidy Squires. And now to present this year's homecoming sash is last year's homecoming queen, Ashley Moyers. She's escorted tonight by her best friend, Christian Stamba. Ashley is currently attending Central Michigan University, where she is studying broadcasting. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your 2013-2014 Garden City High School homecoming queen is Ms. Ricky Keene.
Let me know how late you want to stay up.
Let's hear it for your homecoming queen, Ricky Keene, and her court. Well, congratulations to Ricky Keene and the rest of the Garden City High School homecoming court. Our score at halftime, the Cougars 15, Edsel Ford 15. We'll be back with second half action from Garden City High School right after you watch this. (15-15) is our score as we get ready for second half action here at Garden City High School. Dan York along with Ted Fournier and Phil Henry, and a great first half of football so far, Phil, and we got the stats to prove it.
Absolutely. We're going to start with Edsel Ford, and it's all about Greg Gilliard, as he's 7 out of 9 for 83 yards and a touchdown pass, and he's rushed 7 times for 79 yards. He was sacked 1 time for -17. They've had 3 different runners rush the ball 9 times from the halfback spot, Dan, and they've gained a positive 2 yards. So Garden City's did a terrific job of shutting down the running backs, and there's 162 yards of offense for Gilliard in that first half. And then, of course, on Garden City's side, Federico has 8 rushes for 60 yards, and Kyler Hubbs 6 rushes for 72 yards. He has a touchdown by a 2-yard pass to Kevin Brown-Bacon, and also a 1-yard pass, 1-yard run himself. Kevin Brown-Bacon, you may ask, came out in the quarterback position. He rushed 3 times for 24 yards, completed a pass for 7 yards, and he's caught that 2-yard touchdown pass. That's Kevin Brown-Bacon's night. So Garden City has themselves 164 yards of offense too. So virtually even in the yards and field position, everything like that, and we're even on the scoreboard.
Well, 24 minutes of football remaining, and Ted, these two teams really have matched up. What Phil just said really bears out on the field. These teams have really matched up well with each other.
The score could be a little higher on both sides. Mistakes in the first drive. Garden City was driving very good. A couple back-to-back penalties halted them. And then Edsel Ford has had a couple drives stopped by fumbles. So the defenses haven't done a whole lot to stop the other offenses, but they've stopped themselves. So the team with the fewest mistakes, or the team with the last ball, last time they have the ball, is going to win this game.
Watch your black levels give you a little grainy in a couple of the cameras. Think about black level. You tell Rob to stop dropping his camera.
Edsel Ford is going to receive.
So Torrid Hine kicking off. Galliard deep, along with the 25 Salem. And the second half is underway. This one is kicked to about the 15-yard line. Galliard takes it there. He's up over the 30, runs into traffic, still on his feet. But the Cougars, that's Fedorko there for Garden City, along with the Nowak. And 1st and 10 for the Thunderbirds. The ball will be spotted right around the, let's see, they're going to say right at the 30-yard line.
That would have been his forward progress right there, Dan. A 15-yard return. Gilliard dangerous from all spots on the field. I'm sure he was a big subject at halftime.
Absolutely.
Coach Murray.
And not really a surprise. So Malushi is the wide out on this side. And Galliard will keep it. And he'll pick up about 4 before he's tackled.
Galliard got into the pile and came out of it again. First guy hardly ever tackles him.
DeHater and Hallam with the tackle for Garden City. We'll call it a gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
Once again, just setting with the importance of this game. This is week 6. Garden City 2-3. They need to win the rest of their 4 games to qualify for the playoffs. Sometimes the 5-4 team will sneak in, but to make sure, you got to have 6 wins.
So there's to give to number 9, Sample. And he has become the preferred back for Edsel Ford now after they went through a host of running backs to start the game.
Phil's probably got the stats here. Was that the best non-quarterback run of the day?
Absolutely quadrupled the output thus far. They had a whopping 2 yards total in the first half. That was a 7-yard run for a first down by Sample.
So 1st and 10, the ball at the 42-yard line. Galliard, quick give, and Sample fights his way ahead to about the 46-yard line.
Once again, he's met but not stood up. Met and positive yards after contact. So they don't give running backs a stat yards after contact, but if they did, both sides would be piling them up.
So 2nd down, we'll call it 7 for Edsel Ford. The ball right at the 45-yard line in front of us. Sample in the backfield. Galliard, quick pass, and a first down and more for Malushi. And Malushi finally brought down at the 30 by Stephen Fox, and a first down. Edsel Ford, not much trouble moving the ball here in the second half.
Well, the cornerback fell down. The corner fell down for Garden City just before the catch after Malushi made his move and had to get back up.
So 1st and 10, the ball at the 28 for the Thunderbirds. Malushi, the wide out on this side. Polterak with a touchdown, the wide out on the other side. Sample, the blocking back. Galliard throws it deep, and he's open and just out of the reach of Malushi.
Nice play by Galliard. He made a little fake, pulled it back down, and then went deep with that play. A lot of poise for this young man when he's sitting in the backfield.
He's got a lot of arm strength. You'll also see that too. That play that he completed just before that, was a real crisp pass. And then that's what you said, Ted, is he faked that, the old pump fake, and that allowed Malushi to get behind the defender. However, he just had too much arm for the play.
So 2nd down and 10 for the Thunderbirds. 9 minutes, 48 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Same setup on the offense. Galliard thinks about it. He's going to make his first down.
Get real close to it.
Mitchum, number 24, with the tackle.
Galliard goes by that old cliche, run to daylight. Yeah, I don't know what the play is, but he'll see a hole, and he runs to daylight.
And he is short of the first down, so 3rd down and 1. Thought Galliard made it. No, he was short.
And that was set up by those runs. They came out of in the second half here, the opening second half, running the football with the running backs, and then allowed Galliard to get open on the outside.
And Malushi at the 10-yard line with the pass completion.
I'm telling you, that little 3 or 4 yard out is open every time, and he threw that ball with confidence. And it looks like the Edsel Ford receivers all have that spin move. They catch, make a spin move, and pick up 2 or 3 yards after the catch.
So 1st and goal for the Thunderbirds. The ball right at the 10-yard line. So Edsel driving. They've had possession of the ball since the beginning of this half. We're down to 8:53 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Sample again in the backfield. Sample gets it. And Garden City has done a pretty good job all day of shutting that running game down, as we've alluded to. And a gain of about 2 for Malushi.
I don't know if you noticed
it. For Sample, rather, sorry.
Edsel Ford broke huddle, and their right guard was still in the huddle. He had tying a shoe or something. And the quarterback turned around and said, "Hey, get up there."
Well, what they're using those running plays for in this particular drive is to bring the defense in. They're trying to run off tackle and off guard, and it brings the defense in. Then it opens out those outer lanes for not only passing by Galliard to Malushi, but also the runs that Galliard has run on.
So 2nd and goal from the 7. Malushi goes to the other side. Venus is the wide receiver on this side. Malushi's wide open, catches it, and is in. So Malushi switched sides, went to the right side, and Galliard was looking for him as soon as he took the snap. And Edsel Ford, in about a 4-minute, 8-second drive, goes ahead.
That plays there all day long. Little 4-yard out, catching it, and then just pick up what you can after. And the tackling, once again, wasn't very crisp.
So Edsel will go for one here. Ziegler to attempt the point after. And it's good. So with 7 minutes and 52 seconds remaining here in the third quarter, Edsel goes up 22-15 over Garden City.
And that was too easy. That drive was just too easy, and the defense is going to have to stiffen. Once again, either offense, if they do not shoot themselves in the foot, they have scored.
So we'll see how Garden City responds to this. They've answered the call each time after an Edsel score.
And that was a very methodical possession right there coming out of the second half by Edsel Ford. They took the ball and went 70 yards after a 15-yard kickoff return, and they were in the air 50 yards of that 70. The other 20 yards were on the ground, and the last 8 was covered by Malushi on that pass play. And they've been really going to that a lot. It's like a quick out to Malushi, whether he's running 2 yards or 3 yards. Then Ted, you called it right. He does that spin move, and when he gets in that spin move, he is really moving forward.
Ziegler kicks off, and Brown-Bacon will let it roll into the end zone for a touchback. So 1st and 10 for Garden City at their own 20-yard line.
Well, let's see what formation Scott brings them out in time. We've seen the spread, we've seen the Wildcat, we've seen a veer.
Well, I would think that Brown-Bacon should get a lot more involved in the offense. Once again, his first half stats were really on the first possession when he was running the Wildcat, as you called it, Ted. And right from that point on, other than that little shovel pass down for a 2-yard touchdown, Brown-Bacon has been quiet.
They have not gone back to the Wildcat either.
So Fedorko in the backfield. Brown-Bacon and Sanders on this side, although now the only 2 wideouts, one on each side, as you see Fedorko break it for a first down. A little different formation for Garden City there.
Yeah, but very simply, we've got 2 horses on the left side. Let's hitch our ball carrier to their wagon and let them open the hole.
So 1st and 10 for Garden City at their own 34, and they answer quickly to Edsel Ford's score. And we may have some rain moving into the area in the next 15 or 20 minutes, depending on how far along we are in this game. It doesn't look like any thunder or lightning, but might create some messy conditions. As you see, Fedorko picks up about 2.
That time he was rudely met at the line of scrimmage.
I like where Brown-Bacon is lining up. He's just off of the right tackle in the backfield, so he's really been inconspicuous. Now this time they send him out, in the slot position, but I think that he's really fallen asleep as far as what Edsel Ford would look at.
So Fedorko takes the handoff, and Edsel Ford was waiting for that. Didn't fool anybody with that one. Johnson with the tackle.
You see he's running to the weak side of the offensive formation, and nothing there.
So a big 3rd down and 10 for Garden City.
Brown-Bacon is single covered in the slot.
And the second man through gets the handoff. That's Sanders. He gets Garden City close to a first down, but it's still a 4th and about 3.
And I would not be surprised if Garden City goes for it here. There's no sense really giving up the ball. You've given Edsel Ford the ball here 2 or 3 times.
I think it's a little early. Down by only a touchdown. But they're going to line up and run the play. Like you said, Ted. You are a genius. And Scott Murray will call timeout.
I think you have a button down to Scott Murray's headset saying, hey, timeout, Blue. It's just that Garden City has not proved that they can stop him from anywhere. So you might as well try to keep the ball. And you only have 3 yards. You've had a very successful series, one after another. You have a strong side there. You can run behind the left side, and you might as well give it a shot because you know whether you give up the ball on the 45 here or the 30, they just went 70 yards.
Well, this was a big timeout right here as they just weren't ready for it. There was some confusion on the field as to what the play was going to be called, and that's why the necessity for the timeout. And we saw that at the first half when they had the ball and they didn't have any timeouts left. So this was a key timeout right here. And when you're going to go for it, you cannot be indecisive, and that's exactly what happened.
Earlier in the Redford Union game, they were even farther down. They were in their 20, didn't they? And they went for it at the 27, 4th and 3.
Well, it looks like Garden City is still going to go for it. 4th down, we'll call it 3.
He might try to just draw them off. They have jumped a couple times.
Sanders and Fedorko close to the quarterback.
There, he got it.
And he got it. He got it. So Sanders on the move.
Josh Delgado, number 60.
Offside.
There.
Defense.
Jump
In the neutral
offside. And that'll keep the drive going.
Huge play for Garden City. And a huge misstep for Edsel Ford.
I think he's very good at that snap count, of that really hard count, and that's the second time we've seen him make a first down on that.
And give Julius Sanders a little bit of credit. His motion seemed to be what set it off. Hubbs will keep it. Hubbs still on his feet. Hubbs with a gain of about 7.
If the Garden City backs are patient, they will get positive yards just following their line. And we've been talking about it, big number 52. We haven't mentioned his name too much tonight, but Nick Edney, he's doing a yeoman's job blocking up there.
So 2nd down and 7. Garden City trying to tie it up. The penalty by Edsel Ford let Garden City keep the ball, and Fedorko is still on his feet. Fedorko picks up the first down.
Fedorko needs to be hit twice. He will not go down the first hit. And once again, he broke a tackle and got the first down.
Galliard with the tackle there. He's everywhere.
Galliard was a little frustrated after the play. He gave some emotion there. I think he's saying, hey, somebody else has got to make a tackle here besides me. If they get to me, that's a first down.
So 1st and 10. Hubbs back to pass. A little bit of pressure. He's got a man open. Let's see. Brown Bacon unable to battle through the traffic. The pass a little behind him.
Well covered, though. Double coverage. And a nice block there to let that pass get off, as there was some pressure put on by Edsel Ford.
Yeah, that was Fedorko, and he did a great job right there, and that's where those running backs earn their carries, are plays like that. Clear, nice rush by the Edsel Ford defensive end. He got past the line, and Fedorko picked him up and allowed Hubbs to really air it out.
If you see Hubbs and Fedorko Taco Bell, Hubbs is buying after that block.
Taco Bell, I'm talking KFC or Lona's.
And Fedorko gets the handoff. It looks like it was a broken play. Fedorko's still on his feet. He's going to score. Leroy Fedorko on what looked like to be a broken play. Trots into the end zone. We've got an injured player for Edsel Ford, but Garden City can tie it up here.
Once again, Hubbs made the right decision, because he could have pulled that ball out of Fedorko's gut, but he left it in there, and Fedorko went all the way. You know, it's about 10 or 11 years ago we watched Mr. Sparks run out on the court. Fedorko really reminds me of that young man.
Now watch. Well, that's after the exchange, but there you see Fedorko after he got control of that ball.
And that's the whole key to those plays right there on the spread offenses. That quarterback lays the ball right into that midsection, and he's selling that play right there at that moment of whether he lets go of it or whether he pulls it back out of there. And it's split-second timing, and if you're off on it, we see the ball come out on the ground like we saw in the the junior high games. If your timing's off a little bit, those two really performed that play beautifully.
If you remember, the play before that was basically the same play, and that time Hubbs took the ball out of his gut and he ran the ball, fouled him through the hole. That time he left it in there, and Fedorko, he's a punishing runner. I mean, the first guy hits him is going to pay the price, and he broke that tackle, and then he found daylight and scored.
Absolutely. Just really great play. And I was going to make the comment earlier, Dan, we set this game up by talking about the 29 pass attempts and the 12 completions last week by Hubbs. Of course, that was in a come-from-behind effort against Robichaud, which was all for naught. But in this game right here, it's almost like maybe his arm is kind of wore out.
Sure.
They've been going to the ground.
I don't know if we still have that replay, guys, in the truck, but if we can back it up and show right from the snap, because I want to show the exchange between Hubbs and Fedorko. As you see 64 get up off the ground now, that is Delgado.
Delgado was the right guard that had something wrong during the offensive series. Had two plays in a row, he was fiddling around in the huddle trying to get the equipment or something right, and now he's been injured.
So Dylan Hallam will attempt the point after. Nick Clark is his holder. Cougars trail by 1 with 4:37 remaining here in the third quarter. And now it's tied at 22 apiece. So let's watch this again. There's the snap. And a great sell job by Hubbs on the exchange.
And you're not going to bring Fedorko down with an arm tackle.
Nope.
No, and he is a good run to daylight runner too. When he sees some daylight, he'll go forward. And let's talk about his stats. He had 8 carries for 60 yards in the first half. This half, 5 carries for 60 yards, including 38 yards to pay dirt.
So a tie game with 4:37 remaining here in the third quarter. And again, a very entertaining football game.
And we just want to let our entire volunteer crew know that we will be covering overtime, so don't plan on going anywhere.
It's homecoming.
And hopefully it won't be in the rain.
It's homecoming. There's a lot of alumni here. It's a festive atmosphere. Come on, let's play some overtime.
Let's
With
play
a Garden City victory, of course.
Let's play 2.
Tord Hine kicking off. It's taken around the 15-yard line by Galliard. He's up over the 30. He's got a hole. Arm tackle doesn't work there for Garden City. There's Galliard. Galliard after midfield, and Galliard is gone. Fedorko is the only man that can get him, and he does. Leroy Fedorko with a touchdown saving tackle as Galliard was about to take it to the house.
Chris Berman a little early on the he could go all the way call.
I thought he was done.
I thought he too. But that tells you the speed of Fedorko.
At this point right here, I thought it was over.
Well, look at Fedorko comes all the way across the field
and just got his foot
and just dove and got him. That is hustle. That is desire.
Foot. Well, hopefully it didn't delay the inevitable, and Garden City can force a turnover here as Edsel with a 1st and 10 on the 17-yard line. Galliard on to give. That's number 3, Aola.
Positive yards there by Aola. Gets across at 15 down to close to the 13.
We'll call it 2nd down and 7.
We're going to call that a 70-yard return by Galliard, and what a terrific, that play right there by Fedorko may be the highlight of this game so far.
Fedorko just came from all the way across the field, and he was burning. He was in 5th or 6th gear, and he dove and got him. What hustle, what heart.
So Venus the wide out on this side. High snap. Galliard with pressure is going to take it himself, and Galliard picks up the 1st down, I believe.
Garden City is almost going to have to come in and contain Galliard, because if you give him a crack in the defense, he will take it. You almost just put the pressure on him, but don't go after him. Once one person breaks containment, he's got a hole.
So 3rd down and a yard for the Thunderbirds.
Galliard might just go take it and go.
He's got it, and Garden City's defense was there. That was Chad Ford, who broke through the line of scrimmage to bring Galliard down quick.
That's the 2nd nice play by Chad Ford on Galliard, coming from the bottom like that, like a submarining style to get in the tackle and get Galliard low.
Well, Garden City ought to have a spy on him now. They ought to have one linebacker that's just assigned to him.
And they give him the 1st down. I thought he was short, but they'll give him the 1st down. So 1st and goal for the Thunderbirds. The ball at the 7-yard line.
There's the hole.
And touchdown Edsel Ford. As Galliard with a 7-yard carry puts the Thunderbirds back on top. And here comes the rain.
A very patient young man. Very patient.
See everybody scrambling for their umbrellas and some cover, although it doesn't look like it's raining all that hard.
It just adds character to the overall evening, Dan, is what it does. This game has been highly entertaining and very well played up to this point.
So Ziegler to attempt the point after, and he makes it with plenty to spare. So 29-22. Edsel back on top of Garden City with 2 minutes and 24 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter.
To be honest with you, I don't make a lot of notes during the game. I rely on everybody else working hard. Phil, if I'm not mistaken, 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns, right?
Absolutely. They really, whatever was said at halftime has really sunk into both teams on the offensive side.
I told you, neither one of these teams is going to feature their defense in their highlight tapes this year. And
there you see, it always looks a little harder on television, but I think the rain has intensified a little bit.
Well, cameramen are not officially cameramen until they get soaking wet 4 or 5 times. So this is good for their resume.
I think they'd probably prefer not being official cameramen then, probably. Huh?
We could only get the director outside.
So Brown Bako will let it roll, and it will go into the end zone. That was a smart play either way, because it looked like it might kick out of bounds, which would have resulted with the possession at the 35.
First and 10, Garden City.
It truly amazes me with the rule changes on kickoffs. Before, you never saw high school kids kicking it in the end zone, and right now it's that important. The kicking game is a matter of 15, 20 yards every time. So high school teams have found kickers that can put it in the end zone.
So 1st and 10 for Garden City. The ball at their own 20-yard line. They're down by 7 on the Galliard touchdown run. Fedorko in the backfield as he has been the entire day, and Hubbs on the fake picks up the 1st down.
Absolutely no need to change your game plan right here. Everything's the same. The only factor, the ball's going to be a little wet, so you might see a little more conservative ball playing. Garden City's down by 1 score. Has no need to panic here as we still got 2:12 in the third quarter.
So 1st and 10 for Garden City. And the pitch to Federico. He's over the 40, 45, up to the 50, and he gets a first down in Edsel Ford territory. And Federico having an incredible night for Garden City.
Just Coach Murray should have a little talk with his backs. Put that ball away. Don't say, there's a loaf of bread cliche here, and you can see what it is right here. Watch the ball way out at times. Tuck that ball in.
And avoided the sideline, too, to stay alive longer. So 1st and 10 at the 47 as Garden City now drives it back. And Federico up the middle for 5. As we get a couple of players mixing it up over here on the side.
Yeah, it's always good. Remember, it's homecoming weekend, and there's going to be a dance, and a couple of the players are starting to dance early.
So 2nd down and 4 for the Cougars.
Play Cougar ball.
Second man through. Goes nowhere. Sanders on the carry. Maybe lost a yard for Garden City.
Stopped at the line of scrimmage by 64. It's Josh Delgado.
So we're inside a minute here in the third quarter. Garden City trying to tie it up. It's 29-22.
64, Josh Delgado on the tackle, back in after being injured.
And it's the pitch to number 11 again. And that's a horse collar, no call. Sanders on the carry.
Well, I think if the referee is within 3 feet of the infraction, he's not allowed to call it.
That was a horse collar.
It sure looked like it. Maybe he just grabbed him by the...
Oh, I don't know. It's hard not to call these days.
That was a terrific play and just a great defensive effort, because that play should have really busted off big yards as this third quarter is winding down. But here it is, and you see him. He grabbed him clearly. And that's like Gaillard, of course, so maybe it's because he's just had that kind of night.
He's living a charmed life. So that's the end of the third quarter, 29-22. Edsel Ford on top with 1 quarter of football remaining here at Garden City High School on homecoming. Now we want to tell you about an event coming up. It is called Rock for Autism, and it's a concert to benefit the Berger School for students with autism. It's being put on by Brett Hodderek. Now, Brett is an alumni of Berger School. He is now a member of Dearborn High School, and he wanted to put this on as an Eagle Scout project. Some of the bands are listed there on the screen that will be here. That will take from noon, and it'll actually start bands about 6 o'clock. There will be bands all the way through about 10 o'clock that night. But events going on all night long, all day long, Saturday, October 19th. At the O'Leary Auditorium. So if you get an opportunity, check that out. Again, it's being put on by Brett Hodderek, and it's his Eagle Scout project, so we want to help him try to put some butts in the seats at O'Leary Auditorium.
Nothing wrong with live music. There's just not enough of it in this day and age, as far as I'm concerned.
So 4th down and 2 for Garden City. Big down right here. The pitch to Federico, and Federico picked up the first down. So 28 does it again, and Garden City with a first down.
3 possessions in the third quarter, 3 touchdowns. Garden City driving with their first possession here in the fourth.
And that puts Federico at 155 yards on the evening with a whole fourth quarter left, Dan. 155 yards of offense.
Wow.
For Federico.
So 1st and 10, the ball at about the 34-yard line. Quarterback still has it. And Hubbs, as they try to strip it away from him, Hubbs picks up about 4 on that carry. Looks like they gave him 5, so a 2nd down and 5.
It's just a few.
So Brown-Bako taking the snap directly on this drive, or on this play. And he'll run it right up the middle. It worked that first possession, and it works again here, and another Garden City first down.
Back to the Wildcat. Put your best athlete in the back. Just give him the ball. Let him find a spot, and he's still in there.
And Hubbs is one of the wideouts now. So 1st and 10 at the 20 for Garden City. Brown-Bako. And it's no surprise what he's going to run, and he runs it into the end zone. So Kevin Brown-Bako scores for Garden City on a first down play. They go to the Wildcat, and Brown-Bako immediately turns it into points for the Cougars.
And he had been conspicuously absent since the first quarter. Unbelievable call by Murray to bring him back into the Wildcat position as he finishes up a 19-yard scamper for a TD. Terrific call and change of pace. Caught Edsel Ford off guard.
Well, let me tell you, Kevin Brown-Bako had options on that play. He took and ran to the left-hand side, but if he had the vision and saw on the right side, there was a hole me and you, Phil, could skip through. I mean, that's how big that hole was.
And the point after attempt critical, and it's made. So Garden City ties it up 29-29 with 10:46 remaining in the game.
Well, 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns.
Yep. Every time the team touches the ball here in the second half, they score.
That was a 9-play drive, 9-play 80-yard drive, finishing off with that great run by Kevin Brown-Bako, who had been conspicuous by his absence, and just a nice kept it on the ground type drive for Garden City.
So there you see Garden City after tonight. They play Detroit Osborne here next Friday. That is a game that originally was supposed to be Inkster High School, but with the Inkster School District folding, the Cougars were able to pick up Detroit Osborne. That is an extra home game. Garden City will play 6 home games this season, and then they will travel to Romulus on the 18th of October before finishing up their season here at home against Livonia Franklin on October 25th. So with a win here tonight, Garden City will still need to run the table to be able to be clinched, or guaranteed rather, a playoff spot. You can get in with 5, but 6 is a guarantee. And this is an onside kick, and Edsel's going to watch it. Whoa! Why in the world did he handle that ball? That was going to be a penalty. But Strom decided to make the play on it, and the officials talking to make sure that he didn't make the play out of bounds. So Garden City with a botched onside kick, but again, just odd.
Well, a lot of coaches will tell you that you got a lot of people playing football with good intentions, but not a lot of football IQ. You know, I'm a contender that a lot of kids don't watch full football games, watch highlights. And it's a lot of little things that the football IQ, and that play was made with great intentions, but it wasn't a great football IQ play.
So Edsel will get the ball on their own 30-yard line. Galliard on the give. And once again, Sample with positive yardage.
9 with the carry, Mark Sample.
Jeff Strom and number 29, Robert Nowak, exchanging Christmas lists and recipes out there after the play.
So 2nd down and 7 for Edsel Ford. Once again, Malushi, the wideout on this side. Fake by Galliard, little bit of pressure. Has the man open, overthrows him.
I'm not sure who that was intended for. He overthrew one receiver and underthrew the other. And
we have a player down. That's
I think it's Galliard. He's got a little discomfort. It looks on the his left wheel there.
And a penalty marker on the play.
Strom came in there, 52. Well, no, it was 52 was Edney came in there, I think, and he may have hit him late.
Holding right.
So not only a penalty against Edsel Ford, but they roughed up Galliard on that one.
Well, this could be a difference maker. If he's a little nicked up there, they might give him a couple plays off, which would help Garden City immensely right here, especially with the penalty.
So this was way in the backfield, it looks like. So that'll bring up a 2nd and 21 now for Edsel Ford. So a chance for Garden City to try to stop Edsel Ford. Both teams have scored on every drive here in the second half.
Well, let's see if they hand the ball off here. Galliard still looks a little gimpy back there.
He's got Sample protecting him, going to block for him, but a man gets through for the Cougars. Pressure on Galliard, and they're going to bring him down for a loss. Good pressure by Garden City. 22 with the tackle. That's to Hader.
This is a play that you sometimes forget coming up here. 3rd down here, and they're going to have to, if they stop them and force the punt, that breaks that scoring streak.
So 3rd down and 21 for the Thunderbirds.
You know, we are in the 4th quarter, and the clock is under 10 minutes, under 9.5 minutes, and it's going to start becoming a factor.
And our brief shower has diminished.
Galliard has been extremely dangerous on these 3rd and longs.
He's been deadly. He's got time, a little pressure now. Man open, short of the 1st down. And Garden City will not stop him. We'll have to see where it's marked. Holy crap. He's going to make it by a yard.
Spot.
Oh, my goodness. So he's going to get the 1st down as the gain by Altieri is up to the 41-yard line.
Altieri was wide open. I mean, there was nobody on him, and they've been running this play all night.
Pressure there.
Look how open he is. There's nobody within 5 yards of him.
And he should have been tackled here.
2 arm tackles, and he gets 3 yards after he's tackled, after he's hit.
So a big 3rd down conversion for Edsel Ford. Huge. Give it a Sample, and he'll be tackled at the line of scrimmage.
And that has been Edsel Ford's favorite pass play. It's not like they pulled that one out of their bag of tricks. They have been running that play all night long, and nobody decided to go cover number 10.
And Nichols and Trimble with the tackle, and yet another player down for Edsel Ford. They have had more than their share of players laying on the turf tonight.
But you have to give some credit to Abdul Altari, because once he caught that ball, he has a very low center of gravity, and he just goes into that quick motion and makes other tacklers miss, and he did a lot of extra work on his own. But I agree with you, Ted, they should have had that play covered. It's been a bread and butter play for Galliard all night long.
When you see something 5, 6, 7 times, I tell people that I coach, you got to learn while you're on the court. You got to learn while you're on the field. And if that's their tendency and they need a solid play, what are they going to go to?
So 2nd down and 9 for Edsel Ford as we have the injured player down.
I was just thinking there's 3 timeouts left for Edsel Ford, so There was a little discussion I heard a week ago about players dropping just to stop the clock. You hurry up. And the one guy was saying that they got the signal to get a timeout, and 3 guys dropped at the same time. Didn't make it obvious. But
got to have a dedicated guy, their designated guy. Conover gets up and leaves the field now for the Thunderbirds. Yeah, I heard that same thing, that they were just standard operating procedure in the NFL for sure.
Well, they haven't figured out how to stop the no huddle, and those Wildcats, those big, heavy, big, ugly guys up front start getting tired,
So 2nd down and 9.
2nd and 10 for the Thunderbirds.
Sample in the backfield at tailback. And Galliard still with it. And there's a horse collar on Garden City, I think.
And the flag has hit the carpet.
No, he indicated a hold against Edsel, I think.
Holding. White.
Well, break for Garden City.
With 7:51 left in this game, Galliard has 113 yards on the ground and 154 yards in the air. This young man has accounted for 267 yards all on his own tonight. A terrific performance by Greg Galliard, offset very nicely by Leroy Federko. Leroy Federko has 155 yards of rushing tonight, so it's 1 against 1, and it's been one heck of a battle between those two Titans. Galliard for Edsel Ford and Leroy Federko for the good guys.
And a fumble on the snap. That was a 2nd and 18 play. And it will be Edsel's ball.
I think our buddy Josh Delgado went down and got that one.
Ball on the play, covered by number 64 for Edsel.
Ball never got to him, did it?
Josh Delgado.
I never saw the ball get to Galliard.
I wonder if the center thought that he was
right
under center, exactly, instead of in the shotgun formation.
So 3rd and long now for the Thunderbirds.
Another big play.
They scored, or they picked up a 1st down on a 3rd and 20 already on this drive. And a bad snap. Center is having a rough day. Galliard picks it up, and he's going to boom it. He has got a man open, and he overthrows him. Wouldn't that have been something? Alteri was open. Galliard got a great bounce as the ball came right back to him.
I think that ball is over 50 yards in the air.
And that's just on the snap from center. There you see it bounce up. And boy, talk about composure.
And threw a rocket right there, and that might have been completed for a couple of things. Altari's not really very tall, and that was requiring a taller receiver, and he just kind of lost sight of it and got turned around just a little bit.
I think he jumped a little early, too.
Absolutely.
Ziegler back to punt. Brown-Bako deep for Garden City. And a line drive that Brown-Bako will let go. And it's down at the 35-yard line. So 1st and 10 for Garden City. That's the first possession this half. There wasn't a score.
Garden City has an opportunity here to make a 70-yard drive, make a statement, and close out this game. I mean, with a good running drive, they could take 4 or 5 minutes off the clock very easily here, score, and even if they would kick a field goal, score, and thus making it really hard for Edsel Ford to come back. So the clock is in their favor, and they got the ball.
Hubs on to give to Federko. He picks up at least 5.
Well, 5 every play gets you into scoring position.
And takes a lot of time off the clock.
Federko with the clear to Garden City, gain of about 5 seconds.
There you see the defensive huddle. I don't know if this is a give or not. I think it's Federko. That's that play again when Hubs gives you the impression he may still have the ball. He gave it to Federico, and a 3rd down and 1 now for Garden City.
To your point earlier, Ted, about closing this game out, the last time they had the ball, they went 80 yards in 9 plays, keeping it primarily on the ground, and that's when we saw Kevin Brown-Bacon come in the Wildcat formation to finish that off with a 19-yard TD run.
Hubbs back to pass. Little wobbly. He's got Brown-Bacon open, and there's your pass interference.
Absolutely, clearly pass interference on that one. And Brown-Bacon, the defenders had fallen asleep on him throughout this game in the passing game, and that was a perfect play call right there. And it was going to go for a touchdown, so that would be a great penalty right there on the defender.
Now remember, this is not a spot foul. They might be just calling defensive holding, which is an automatic 1st down, but I'm not sure if I think it might be a 5-yard penalty.
That was 18, I believe, Lopez, who committed the penalty. They've come all the way back to the line of scrimmage to walk it off.
All right, it's pass interference.
Big 15-yarder, Ted.
Pass interference, defense.
I think that saved a touchdown. So if I'm coaching Edsel Ford right now, I'm not that,
that's not a bad penalty. There are some penalties that you have to take. To stop the scoring, and that's not a bad penalty.
So 1st and 10 for Garden City on the 41 of Edsel Ford. And Brown-Bacon back there again with a Wildcat, uses one of the officials as a screen and picks up about 8.
Now one thing, and they're still in the hurry-up offense. There's still 5 minutes on the clock. I mean, I want to play. I want the touchdown, but I also don't want to give Edsel Ford any time.
So Hubbs back in at quarterback with a 2nd down and 2. He's looking to pass. And Brown-Bacon with the pass completion and another 1st down at the 21.
Where's he going? Give the ball to the ref. Pretend like you caught one before, Kevin.
So 1st and 10 for the Cougars at the 22-yard line.
Take some time off the clock.
And Hubbs still had it. Faked that handoff to Federico. Either way, Edsel had it covered.
Nick Edney, Charlie Strasser, Christian North, Emilio Asensio, and Jay England. Those are those big guys up front that have done another magnificent job all night long.
And Brown-Bacon back at the Wildcat. And he'll take it, and there's a flag on the play.
Now, you don't want to do that. Remember, the penalties killed the drive.
And procedure against Garden City.
Penalties killed the drive in the first.
False start. Offense.
So that stops the clock with 4 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. A tie game. And that creates a 2nd and 17 for Garden City. Brown-Bacon on the direct snap. Fake the pass. And won't get anything out of it. Edsel stayed at home. And now 3rd down and long for Garden City.
3rd down.
Tough situation for the Cougars. Out of field goal range.
Or are they? You've been talking about the secret weapon back there, Dan.
I don't know. Hubbs to Federico, and Federico gets nothing.
I really don't understand the last 3 or 4 plays in this series. You have a clock to kill. You have Federico, who has just run roughshod all night long. They haven't stopped him. They couldn't stop him with a taser. And we're playing some kind of other ball here, and now we are in a desperate down. We are in a 4th down situation where you got to do something, and a sack, an interception, a fumble here, and you got to go for big yardage.
They're going to go for a field goal.
Well, hopefully this kid's got a cannon.
Well, I don't think that's him.
Is that Hubbs?
That's Hallam.
Hallam?
Nick Clark to hold.
Dylan Hallam to attempt a 44-yarder. Now, I'll tell you why this is smart, even if he misses. And it's blocked and still almost made it. I'll tell you why that was a good thing to do. The ball goes to the 20-yard line in high school. As long as it gets through the end zone. So you moved Edsel back now to the 20, and you still almost made that.
Well, let's see what kind of arm Gilliard's got, because there's 2:40 on the clock. The score is 29-29. They're at the 20. We do not know what kind of field goal kicker that Edsel Fort has. They've made their extra points. That's always a good sign. So,
well, Edsel's coming to the line of scrimmage. This is wrong. The ball goes to the 20. The ball got through the end zone, so the ball goes to the 20.
The officials are going to call timeout and discuss it, Dan. You're absolutely right here. They're confabbing right now.
Yeah, they're pointing to the 20. And just to make sure, because if the Garden City didn't run the ball out of the end zone, Edsel Fort doesn't get a point, right? That's Canadian.
It's Canadian League, yeah, thanks. Appreciate that.
But
because I'm not dumb enough. Throw that in and try to confuse me a little.
And I think that you made a real good point, Ted, about what happened in that drive. It just sort of disintegrated.
You know what?
And they give them great.
You have a plan that has worked all half.